Hello everybody, it is Lilah here and I'm coming to you a little bit differently than normal for my July energy update. As some of you may know, I am in between houses and so there is a lot of packing up, moving, shuffling, and so I'm not really stable at present. I'm in between. So I thought I'd just sit out in my garden here, since sadly I'll be leaving this house to move to a house near the sea, which has its own feel and energy that I'm still getting used to. But I thought I would sit out here in the garden. It is a lovely winter's day in Cape Town. We are heading out of winter now, since, as you know, for those in the northern hemisphere, your days are getting shorter as you move to winter, and our days are getting longer as we move to summer. So if you are joining me here for the first time, my name is Lilah. My tag is the multidimensional mother. I have many other social media channels, so please take a look at those and follow my website links and others down below in case you want to hear more of what it is I share. So I have my notes next to me. I shared a bit of this on my Instagram post a couple of days ago, but there are a number of key themes for July. Some of them are continuing and have been continuing themes for the past couple of years. So excuse me if I repeat things, but it really is a continuing trend, a continuing thread that is moving through us as we evolve in consciousness and transform to a higher way of being. So I will step into the detail, but I'll first list the points. It is a continuing theme of reframing yourself. This was a theme raised in my 2022 energy update, so the link is here if you want to go and watch that video. The second is very important: holding space for yourself and holding space for others, stepping into a way of being that is present and anchored but not doing. What are your values and what are you anchoring into? As the energetic matrices in which we are embedded change and dissolve, you may feel like you're a bit out into orbit, and so your values and what you believe in are going to be quite important moving forward. The next one is the final stage of the fear matrix dissolution. Now, many of these points are not necessarily true for everybody, but if you are on a path of awakening and becoming more self-aware, they will be. And the fear matrix is one of those energetic matrices that is really collapsing at present, but is also very triggering. Allowing the old to go and surrendering to the flow. This is a biggie, because this takes us into the new way of being, into the new human who is not so much controlling, holding the reins, who's not so much mentally orientated, who's really working with the higher mind and the soul, and moving in a place that is animated by soul energy, by cosmic forces. And then time for expansion, if you are ready. And last but not least, the continued opening of the heart center. So the theme for July, as with June, really does run for a couple of months, and if not years, right? Some of these key themes like reframing, the heart opening, and allowing the old to go are really going to be themes that are going to come up for us individually in their own unique way, but will be following through for the next few years. In terms of the first one, reframing yourself, this was something that was very clear in my 2022 energy update and seems to be quite intense for this year and next year. That links into the theme of allowing the old to go, where we look at what stories run our lives, what narratives run our lives, what do we believe about ourselves, and all of those structures that have put into place by the people around us or expectations of others that are not really our authentic self are being asked to fall away and to be cleared. So it really is, and this is the difficult part, right? But it really is about being as neutral as possible when it comes to creating yourself anew. So this is really about seeing yourself in a broader capacity, understanding you are a multidimensional being, understanding that you're not necessarily your personality or your ego or your patterns and behaviors, but you are more than that. And so it's really stepping into a world where we are more energetically conscious, where we are more energetically aware, and we begin to understand ourselves in a way that is reflected back from others. We start feeling into how our body feels in certain situations. For those empaths out there, we step more into a role of the empathic warrior, where your sensitivity is your strength, where you trust that sensitivity, where you listen to the nudges that are being offered to you by your sensitivity in terms of something that is good for you or something that is not so good for you. And so this reframing is really beginning to create a new picture of who you are, and more a remembering of who you are. And so that is the reframing theme that is strong in July, August, September, and continues through to the end of next year and probably into beginning of 2025. Holding space for yourself and others. We need to be gentle with ourselves, people. It seems that especially in the spiritual community, there is a hard-pressed need to heal, to grow, to do this course, that course, to go to this circle, when in actual fact that pushing, that driving is coming from a very human place, not necessarily an energetic or spiritual place. And so the holding space means you really do rest up if that's what you're being called to do, that you enjoy your day-to-day experiences without trying to make them otherworldly, that you don't force spiritual experiences on yourself or others, because being here on the planet, being a human and enjoying the human experience is as spiritual as it is going to a ceremony or meditating. So this holding space for yourself and others is about being gentle, is about being softer, is not about driving forward, right, in a results-orientated way, and is also about dropping judgment of self, dropping judgment of others, and really just becoming an epicenter of calm, of peace that you hold for yourself and that you also hold for others. Especially in times where we are now, where there is a lot of fracturing, a lot of destabilization, there is a lot of miscommunications, misunderstandings, misperceptions, and so all of that is breaking and changing, and we really need to be soft, be gentle with ourselves and with others. The fourth one, what are your values and what are you anchoring into? Now, if we just use the symbolic imagery of this field, this energetic field we are all contained in, that has various layers, various dimensions, some of them heavier than others, but there is a matrix of fear, there's been a matrix of greed, matrix of codependency. They're all energetic structures within which humans interact with one another and interact with the world as we know it. The one matrix that is in, well, I would say the beginnings, because it is going to take a while, but is in a serious state of collapse, is the fear matrix. Now, you will know that you're plugged into the fear matrix if you hold a fear of speaking your truth, if you hold a fear of being authentic, if you look at yourself and then wonder, how am I going to get there? How can I do it? What's going to happen if? So examine within you what fear-based structures you still hold, what fear-based energy you still hold, because with the dissolution of that fear matrix, it's no longer going to serve you to tap into that. And fear and love cannot coexist in the same framework. So whenever you are asked to make a decision, just check in, am I making this decision based on love, or am I making this decision based on fear? Any decision that's based on fear is not necessarily going to lead you to the right place, right? So check in with yourself, check in with your values, and yep. Okay, I'm just trying to, I've got words coming in through as I'm talking, and I know I've overlapped too, right? The ego matrix and the values, but really check in terms of that. What happens then is, as that destabilizes, more and more people are kind of sent out to orbit, as I say, because as you detach, it's held you, right? It's held you within a certain structure, made you feel comfortable, made you feel contained, but now we're moving to a place of not being contained. I'm sorry, there's a motorbike because I am recording outside, so I hope you bear with me. But now it's not so much being contained, it's being out there. It's maybe being a little bit freer. But in being freer, you might feel uncomfortable. You might feel that you're destabilized. There's nothing anchoring you. So what I was shown by my guides is that your values will anchor you. So this is not about stepping into a particular way of being or thinking, but what are my values? Is my value to remain true to myself? Is my value to hold integrity in all situations? Do I want to compromise my principles? What are my principles? This is your like lifeline, your safety net, your guard. You know, when astronauts float out into orbit and they have that line into their spacecraft, what do you call it when they spacewalk? What is your connector? Because that's going to bring you more stability. It's when you're in the situation of orbiting and not really connected into anything as such, as these energetic matrices collapse, your value system, what you have faith in, will hold you in a place where you'll feel more comfortable. The next one, allowing the old to go and surrendering to the flow. This is probably the most difficult, or one of the most difficult, that us humans are asked to hold, and that is a place of surrendering, a place of going with the flow, a place of not really mentally needing to know what the next step is. Because the cosmic energy, the cosmic forces work in a very different way to what we have thought, believed, worked with here in planet Earth, right? So as we are moving to a further embodiment of the soul, as we are moving towards being greater, or rather beings who have a greater understanding of the energetic field and frequency, we will be asked to move and flow with forces that are outside of the ones we are used to working with, which is the physical, the mental, and the emotional. So those spiritual forces, the cosmic forces, are like this magnetic hand, this guiding force that really make us feel the urge, or when we feel animated, that is the flow in which we are asked to open up to receive. So allowing the old and surrendering are going to be current themes for the next 2 years, if not longer. And then time for expansion. If you're ready, this again will apply to you or not, but this expansion, this moving into more of who you are, this remembering of who you are, is going to be the most beautiful theme that is going to be present for the next few months, leading into the beginning of next year. And that is really just an opening and allowing, nothing forced. As I said, the expansion within you allows more light to come in, more of your soul frequency to come in, and for you to live a truer and authentic life aligned to your service or soul's purpose. And then last but not least, the continued expansion of the heart field. There is only one energy field that is truly aligned to the divine will of God, Mother, Father, Creator, Source, Energy, whatever you want to call it, and that is the heart field. The heart field is the place at which our star being, our light, our consciousness is anchored into our physical body. The other chakra points are merely anchor points for memories, for vibrations, for soul learnings, for healing, for growth. So this heart energy field, which if you have not watched a video that I made more than 2 years ago now about the expansion of the heart field, is one of the key steps towards a spiritual awakening. The heart generally, when it opens, sees the suffering, sees the sadness. So the most common sign that your heart is expanding is crying, is sadness. It doesn't necessarily have to be sadness, but it's the crying, it's the seeing, it's the feeling. It really is a hugely, deeply sacred connection to being the divine in the human body on the planet at this time. So the heart field is a critical field for us to feel into, to understand, to connect in with. And I think that's about all for now. I do hope you don't mind my sharing on this particular screen. I just wanted to get the July energy update out to you all. I am really hoping you are all trying to stay as present as possible, that you are caring for yourself, because self-care is so important during this time. And I am hoping to see my first clients face-to-face at my new practice in Muizenberg in Cape Town in the second week of July. I'm really hoping that all of you who might be that side of Cape Town will consider coming to see me. And as a healer and seer, I'm continually committed to holding the highest vibration, to holding an open heart, and to really opening a space of healing and care for you to expand, for you to heal, for you to learn more about yourself and learn more about your connection to the cosmic field and, of course, our connection to each other. So from my heart to yours, I send you love and blessings, and I will be in touch when I'm on the other side. Take care and bye.